Tina. Welcome to my channel where we talk about leaders progressing into exceptional leaders. Today, I want to talk about emotional intelligence. And I know we've talked about it before, just on a general level. And do you know how to develop your emotional intelligence? And that's what I want to talk about today. When you learn how to develop it, I'll give you a couple of tips. It will only get stronger with time. And I think that that is a very powerful tool to use when you are leading people and even leading yourself. You'll be able to gauge things in a much different level so you can show up much more professionally and enjoy what you're doing. The first one I want to talk to is being mindful of your emotions. Our emotions are really our body telling us that something is wrong. It's our inner guidance as to how we need to show up. And sometimes we have a tendency of just blocking them, pretending that it doesn't really happen. And, we need to stop and learn how to name these emotions when they are in play. Brené Brown just wrote a book, The Heart of the Atlas, and she actually talks about the way that we haven't fully defined all the emotions. We haven't been able to name all of them as of yet. We keep it very basic, when the idea of our emotional intelligence is much more complex. And sometimes when we think that we're feeling one way, there's actually a multiple emotions that might be linked onto it, multi-layered, and they could be like the second emotion in play or third emotion. It's not necessarily the simplicity of I feel dismissed or I feel angry. Actually, angry is like more of a secondary. The first would be like I feel dismissed, I feel judged. And it's not that easy. Like you don't just walk away from it. You should actually be mindful and go deeper and see where it's coming from and why you might be feeling that, because you could be carrying stuff that is triggering you from the past that is making this current situation even worse. And that's a whole other level, because we have a tendency of carrying false narratives when we haven't learned to process our emotions effectively, and they get blocked. So in your current moment, you could be really feeling triggered about something, and sometimes it's only like 10% of what's going on now, and 90% is based on what has happened in the past. But the point that I'm trying to make is that learn or start the exercise of being able to name your emotions, because when you name your emotions, then you can address them in a different way, and it's a different level of discovery, and you can understand, you can start going a little bit deeper as to why you're feeling it. So for example, if you're in the workplace and you're always getting dismissed by this one manager and it just sets you off, you feel judged, or there's whatever that emotion is, then it allows you to be able to name it and then go deeper. And, that's the work that I do. I help people go a little bit deeper and go into that explore as to where is this coming from? Because the ideal is, as you get better with managing these emotions, you can release them. So they're no longer blocked and they will no longer trigger you. But if we pretend that they don't exist, or we can't even name them, then the cycle will continue over and over and over again. The second one is not to bottle up your emotions. So when you feel it, there's a saying, you feel it to heal it. You gotta feel it. Blocking those emotions and saying statements like, I'm fine, whatever, it doesn't matter, that is not helping you in the long run. And there's different ways that you can actually process the emotions. I'm not asking you to go in and blow up and getting really emotional and upset with people. It could be going for a walk. It could be writing in a journal. It could be stepping away from the situation so you can respond effectively and not just react in that moment. That actually has a huge impact in how you move forward. And the reason why it's so important, this is an art. If you learn to just allow yourself to feel the emotion, allow it to go away, then you're no longer going to block it in your body, because your body remembers. Those emotions are still in there. Even if you think that it's not a big deal and just going to shut it down, whatever, and dismiss it, it can haunt you later on. It actually can manifest into some really unhealthy things for your body and your overall well-being. So this gift of emotional intelligence and teaching people how to address it and not be fearful to handle it and release it, just do it effectively. There's many different ways that you can manage your emotions. The intention of this conversation is just start to feel it and then manage it and see what it's trying to tell you, because your inner guidance system, your authentic leadership, this inner part of you is the most powerful guidance system you have. So your inner system knows you best more than anybody else. But the problem is that we're not as comfortable with understanding ourselves. And when you do understand it, then it can flow a lot easier, and then you can show up better for yourself and show up better for your teams or your family, whatever. It could be work or in your personal lives. Another one would be practice empathy. Are you kind on a regular basis? Try to go out of your norm to practice empathy. And the reason why I say that is empathy is directly related to how you feel. When you are empathizing with another person, it's not feeling sorry for them. It's actually understanding what it's like to be in that situation, maybe because you've had a similar situation, or you can understand what that emotion may be. But it's not like an outsider looking in. That is more sympathy. Empathizing is putting yourself in someone else's shoes and proceeding with compassion and kindness and being an active listener, or, giving some guidance, coming all from a good place. Another way to practice empathy would also be like practicing gratitude on a regular basis. Gratitude is magic, because when you can sit there and have gratitude, it really means that you are pausing in the moment and you can look around you and be appreciative for the things that you have. It allows you to show up a little bit differently, and it allows you to empathize with others and also with yourself about all the great things that you have. So these are really important practices, just a couple right now, to kind of get you thinking about how you can develop your emotional intelligence. It will help with your overall self-awareness. It will help with your relationships that you have with other people. It will increase your creativity because you feel much more comfortable in your skin. Right? The more we can get leaders to tap into empathy and develop that skill, the better it will be, because they'll be able to connect with people on a whole different level. It's not just because it was written in stone, it's because you're connecting as a human to another human, which is so powerful. You learn to develop this empathy muscle, and it's a one step at a time, right? I think the first thing is get comfortable with your emotions. Don't talk yourself through, don't rationalize it, just get comfortable with your emotions, because you'd be very surprised what your body is trying to tell you, or your intuition is speaking to you, and it's a gift. It's not meant to be shut out. So if today's session resonated with you, give me a follow, because I share tips and tricks to get you back to your best self. And I'm telling you, emotional intelligence is the next level of leadership. If you can balance your mind and your emotions, you will be top-notch leader.